how we going? Over the last 12 months I've had a lot of requests to build a bigger bait that's lighter in weight. All the requests are around the new fishing techniques people are implementing with live scope sonar technology. I don't have live scope myself, but I've watched a few videos on how most people fish it. So most people want a bait that sits really high in the water column, which is hard to do when you have a hook harness incorporated into a bait, because you have to have lead inside and it just gets too heavy. These have worked really well. I got some nice big meteries last build up on these, but I thought I'd do a video. I've had a bit of a special request to make some custom baits, something a bit different. So I've designed these to have a hook harness in them. So I'll go through it later on how I've made them to have a glued in screw eyelet instead of your traditional corkscrew sort of style. I don't like them, they pop the eyes off, and anyway I'll go through that later, but I'll go through how I made these up. These baits have come up awesome, I love them. Something a bit different to the mass produced stuff that's on the market at the moment. They've got a real natural sort of look to them. I'm really pleased how they've come up. Anyway, I'll quickly go through a pour on one of them. I'm going to make a sort of brownie gold copper one. I'll start doing that now. So they eat up about 150 ml of plastisol. So I've got some copper highlight. Just going to put a little bit of that in, not too much. And then I'm going to stick this in the air drum and get all the bubbles out of it. Air vacuum, sorry. So I'll just put a real little bit of that in, just to give it a little bit of colour in the bottom, and then I'll put some flake in once it's heated up. Anyway, I'll stir this up and I'll put it in the vacuum, and I'll heat him up. I'll come back once it's heated up. Righto, we've got the plastisol. I've heated that up in the microwave. Just going to put some brown flake in it. Not too much, just a little bit to shine through. A little bit more. I want this brown flake to come up the flanks a bit more on this one, sort of only in the bottom there. I'm going to roll this mould so it comes up the flanks a little bit more. All right, I'll pour this in. Do that, sort of roll the mould like this. You can roll it up on the sides and then let it go back down, and there'll be a few bits of flake that stay up there. Just got to be careful, this stuff is hot. Just keep rolling it, and then you'll get a couple of bits of flake stay up there each time. Leaves a bit of a skin on it. Looks pretty cool once you fill it up. Got a few up there, but not as many as I was hoping. Anyway, right, so I'm just going to add a real little bit of colour into this. Got some deep olive here somewhere. Here it is. Just going to add a real little bit, mix him back up. When you're doing these natural ones, you want to leave the variation in colour minimal so it sort of blends in with each other. If you do it too sudden, it just puts lines in it and looks fake. So I find trying to do just gradual changes in colour makes it look a lot more natural. So I've just put a little bit of olive in there, which will make it a little bit darker. Leave that there, and I'll go put him in the microwave and heat him up again. Right, that's cured pretty quickly. It was only, by the time I put it all up the sides, it's pretty shallow. I've heated that up and made it a little bit darker. what I'll always do is when I'm doing laminates like this with different colours, I'll give it a quick hit with the heat gun, soften it up. It'll just help it bind together a bit better. Right, I've just left about 5mm at the top. I'm going to just roll that up like I did with the other one, just to blend the colour. Be really careful. I come close to the top with this. Right, to make it a little bit darker on this third pour, I'm just going to put in a real little bit of black. If I can find it. Just a real little bit. Heat this one up. It's going to take a bit longer to cure that one. It was a bit of a thicker pour, bit more plasticine in it. But I'll heat this up and I'll come back and pour this last layer. Righto, we'll do this last top coat. Quick hit with this heat gun. That's going to come out pretty mint. This is a hard plastisol I'm using, but you know, I find it works the best. Like I said before, I'll go through, once this one's dried, I'll go through and show you how I rig them up. I'm pretty new to this sort of harness setup. I've been watching a lot of stuff over from Europe, like I said, with the pike fishermen. It seems a pretty good way of getting a bit more durability, life out of your swim baits. Works pretty well. I notice a lot of the cod guys are doing it now when they're scoping, so like I said, I've had a bit of a request to do something up a bit different, a bit more natural for a fella over on the east coast. I'm really happy how these come out. They look mint. A lot different to all the mass-produced stuff that's getting around. So yeah, I'll let this one come out. It's got a bit of a different tail configuration on it, this one here. I'll show you once it comes out. This is more your traditional flat tail paddle tail. It's got a big thick sort of boot tail on it. This one's got a more side to side action, where this one here's got a huge body roll on it. But I'll give them a swim in the pool after and I'll show you how they swim. Righto, it's time to take this one out. Been in here a little while. Oh yeah, it looks good. Once I glue those eyes on and paint that back. But he's got a big thumping tail as opposed to these other ones. Like I said before, these have just a more of a traditional side to side paddle, where these get a real twist body roll happening on them. Both really good and probably both have their place, but yeah. Anyway, I'll give this a quick paint and get his eyes on him and give you a look at him. Alright, I've given him a little bit of a paint on top just for contrast. I'll glue these eyes on. Actually, first of all, I'll put this toe point in. So this is just a sort of wire twist you use on sort of hard body lures for hook hangers. So I've just twisted this up and sharpened the end. So all I do is center it, push it in dry. So that's dry with no glue. Pull it out. I use this Loctite 406. It's It's pretty pricey, this stuff, but fuck, it's good. Should dry, it glues anything. It's great for gluing the lure eyes on. Put a little bit of this on there and put him back in the hole. You've already pushed in and pushed out. Yeah, I prefer to use one of these. I just find the big screws and that just pop the eyes off. So I put that in, put a little bit of glue on there for his eye. Really good lifelike eyes, these ones. On the other side. Let's come up mint. So they're the two different ones. So this one's got the flat tail. It's got the big body roll tail. They come up really good. Anyway, I'll let them dry, cure, and then I'll give them a swim in the pool. I'll hook up the little pre-made harness I've got for it, and I'll give you a look at them swimming in the water. Righto, I've got a little harness I've sort of made up myself. Bent these little pins up to hold him in. It's got two swivels with a split ring in the middle. I've just put a bit of a shrink wrap over it to tidy it up a bit. Anyway, I'll put it on this one with a big tail. We'll go out and give him a test run in the pool and see how he swims. Like I said, these run real high in the water column, and you can wind them so slow. I think that's the way all these live scopers are fishing their baits these days, but I'm going to make up a couple for myself in a minute. Got a couple of trips planned down the salt. I'm going to make a couple of nice big fluoro ones up. There's a couple of spots that hold big barra. They're shallow as. They're only in like 5-6 foot of water, so these will be perfect. I'll pour myself up some in a minute. I'll give this a run, but yeah, that's how I'll run them, just like that. Hook just sort of sits there. Get a fish and it pulls off. We'll go down. We'll go out the pool and give him a test run. Anyway, yeah, that gives you a little bit of an indication on the swimming action of these ones with the big thumping paddle tail. I didn't get around to doing these ones. These ones with that sort of tail will swim at a really even slower speed, but don't quite have the same body roll. Anyway, yeah, so these are a custom colour I've done. Hopefully you get a few ideas from that video. If you want me to put out a few more of these videos like this around how I make these sort of bigger swim baits, give us a shout out in the comments and I'll do a few more videos like this. I did manage to sneak a couple in for myself, so done a couple of barra colours there. Going down the Gulf in a few weeks. I'll give these a good hit workout in some shallow water, so I can slow roll these through big schools of barra, and I reckon I'll get slammed. Anyway, that's the video on these custom colours. Something a bit different to your standard run-of-the-mill mass-produced lures that are on the market everywhere at the moment. These are a bit of a custom colour. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.